Welcome back. This is Pairs Well Knitting. I'm Jennifer, and this is a knitting podcast all about knitting, yarning adventures, and travel. Thank you very much for joining me today. So excited that you're here. We are having a very jam-packed episode today of spring and not so spring knits that are on my needles, things that flew off the needles. We are talking about Knit City and my adventures to Montreal, glorious. And we're talking about a kit. I even have a giveaway. So get comfy, get cozy, and we will dive right in. We are going to be showing finished objects. The first finished object I didn't make, but I'm so excited to share with you, and it's a little challenging holding them all. I have buttons to share. These are glorious and gorgeous buttons made in pottery. So they're clay from a girlfriend and colleague that I work with this year. She saw a button, and I could show them all. They're fairly uniform. She did a fabulous job, and I'll bring, there's clicking noises. She offered to make buttons in her pottery class with me. Or sorry, I should say for me, after she saw clay buttons that I was wearing on my champagne cardigan. I had buttons that I purchased from Fia in Halifax, and she thought, ooh, how fun, that'll give me an interesting project. So she offered to make these over many classes, and if you're a pottery person, I'm not, you know, it's not just like a one-off, it's multiple stages of the process of pottery making. She did such a glorious job. We did a bit of collaboration about kind of, you know, just shape. Two-hole button would be perfect for knitwear. The glazing, which I think is glorious. So it's a slight sheen to it with once the glaze was fired onto the pottery, or I should say the clay, it's created these really beautiful little just like brown speckles. They're fairly large, so I'm gonna have to come up with the perfect kind of chunky garment for these to make sense and work on. But I think they're stunning and so fun. So with this finished object, I have a finished object-ish to share with you. These are, you know, as a thank you, of course, for the bit buttons from her. I gave her a couple options as to what to make, and she chose a pair of fingerless mitts. This is my own pattern. This is Favorite Fingerless Mitts by me, which is so fun. And I worked with her to figure out kind of what she was after. So color choice, yarn choice. I brought a bunch of different like rustics in, assuming that everyone's a rustic fan, and she wasn't. So we went for something very different. We went for a merino, 100% merino wool in this stunning rust orange color, which, you know, is glorious for, I feel, all seasons, but especially moving into fall after the summer. And this is Sunday by Stainless Garn. So this didn't match gauge of my pattern. The pattern has two separate gauges involved in one pattern, which is kind of nice. Didn't do this one. It's a worsted and a bulky that's written in the pattern. This is DK. So I just did a really quick, happy little recalculation for the cast on and just knit to the accommodating marks for thumb hole, and it just worked out well. This was a really simple subway knit that I did on and off the subway lines that I take. Obviously haven't woven in my ends yet. She's been a little busy in my knitting and fibery world, but that'll happen and get blocked this week, and I'll be able to gift them to her as a thank you. And I just feel like that's so nice to give something that's handmade from receiving something that's handmade that I would never make myself, which, I mean, maker community is just the warmest and the most gorgeous. So those are Favorite Fingerless Mitts. They're available on Ravelry. I'll link them below, of course, in my show notes. There we are. First and only finished object. The next up I'm going to share is a whip. The whip I'm going to share, I have two. So let's share this one. This is my spring whip. It's a overall lace knit tee. Who am I? We are knitting not only a lace and a tee, but with a plant fiber base. This is knit with, hold on, I'll tell you the pattern in a second. I think it goes this way. No, it goes the way I showed you first. This is a yarn by the Knitting Loft. It is a 50-50 merino and hemp blend. It is their Cardi base. Fabulous, was recommended to me by Emily from High Fiber Knits when we were there for local yarn shop day. And I may not look back on plant-based mix blends of wool. I've really been enjoying the process of making in my hands. I think I will fully enjoy wearing something like this. The pattern is the Shore Tee by Ventzel. I'm knitting the smallest size. It was a bit wonky to start as I was really new to this style of construction. Plus with the knit lace knitting motif, I didn't have it down yet. So there's a lot always going on at the beginning when you're doing top-down patterns or knitting them. But we got there after some rip out episodes. So we're almost finished. I think I'd have to measure again the body length, and then we're doing some ribbing, and we're going to pick up some stitches for the sleeves, and she will be done sooner than later, which is really exciting. Yeah, not much to say about that, but I will definitely share a lot more detail when this comes up as a finished object in a future episode. Loving the yarn, loving the pattern, and really enjoying the process now that I have the knit motif down from the charts, and we are just soaring high, which is great. So that's the Shore Tee by Ventzel in Cardi by the Knitting Loft. And now for today's sponsor. What pairs well with knitting and a sponsor? You've got to be kidding me. We are working and so proudly collaborating with Unravelled. This is a New Zealand company. If you've been here for a minute, you know New Zealand has my heart. I've lived over there. I did my BEd over there. And now we're collaborating with this lovely company. I'm so excited. I'm going to be opening this kit for the first time with you that they sent me. And we're going to be sharing just a little bit of information before I get this cast on. And I have been waiting. So let's dive in. We have some ridiculously fun yarn coming at us. It's glorious. I did peek in, but all I was able to see was kind of like the top of the kit, so I couldn't like dive in all the way. And I wanted to show you the yarn balls all like really beautifully balled up before I was ripping them apart and started casting on. So this is a kit. I'm going to share about the kit in a second with their yarn Cozy. This is Peruvian yarn. Which is so, I just love that it's a New Zealand company. It's 82% alpaca, 18% Pima cotton. So of course, we're knitters, we're probably familiar with this type of commercial yarn where it's, I think it's a blown yarn. So it's definitely got that combo of probably like the cotton core, if you can see, and then the fluffy alpaca. So even though we're looking at really voluminous yarn, it's light and airy. I think it's going to be crazy cozy though. Hello, Cozy. So cute. They come in 100 gram balls. I'm just looking, they're calling it a mega ball. And the needle size that they're suggesting on this is a 10 millimeter needle. It creates 8 stitches per 10 centimeters or 44 inches. And so she is a quite bulky knit. This, and I'm going to give you the backstory. There's more things in here. Never mind, the bag is great because it's reusable, which is super lovely of them. Yes, they have it here. Okay. This is my kit. I'm going to be knitting the Bubble Bomber jacket. Backstory, I was approached by Unravelled to knit a blanket. I am not a blanket knitter, or maybe I should always say yet. I feel like I don't desire or want a knit blanket in my life, and work on one that would take me probably a million years to finish. And I love wearing the things I make. So I said no first to the collaboration. They have reached out again for, again, a collaboration that focused around a blanket. I again said no, but thank you so much. How flattered am I? And I said, you know what, if you are interested in collaborating, I would love to do this with you. I believe in this company. I'd be interested in knitting the Bubble Bomber jacket. And they got back to me and said, okay, we'll do it. So here we are. I don't know what's inside because I haven't opened this before. So let's look at the yarn. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 of these balls. I've ordered the smallest size, and it's a cardigan. It's a jacket. It's an open air, super simple jacket that, I mean, look at this. We're just gonna toss it aside. It's probably gonna take next to no time to knit it up. I really am excited about this colorway. It's called Flamingo, and I feel like it's just gonna be the perfect piece to put over as I get into August to keep me cozy. I haven't even told you my August plans yet, but you are going to find out all about it because this is going to be perfect for it. My floor is now covered with flamingo yarn and it's looking great. The bag even, it's got like this little zippy bit that I can put my keys in because let's face it, those are always dangerous to put in the big bag, which I usually do. And that's exciting. And then let's look at the kit for a sec. Right, so I don't really know what's in here. I'm assuming the physical pattern. Oh my goodness. They've done everything in the kit. Right. Okay. Oh my gosh, there's so many things. I didn't realize that they were gonna send me all this stuff too. Wowzers. Okay, we've got Chihuahua needles that they sent, which is amazing. So there are kits that come with the yarn and pattern, and then you can also, in addition, have the option of needles as well. So this is the jacket. Really simple, really easy construction. I cannot wait to get that casted on. So thank you very much to Unravelled. There is, of course, all of the information in the show notes below. If you also want to dabble in getting a kit, if you use the code that I'm featuring below, which is, hold on, the code is Pairs Well Knitting. If you go to unraveled.store, you can get 10% off of your order, and a small percentage as well goes to me. So I thank you very much for that, for sponsoring me and the channel. Thank you, Unravelled. Can't wait. I'm casting on today. I can't wait. So thank you. We are gonna get into my last very active whip. The last active whip that has been having some time well at home and cozy is my Wild Posy pullover by Melody Hoffman. If you've been here last time, you've seen that I finished the body, but this time I'm almost done the sleeve. I've been using it as a home project only because of the unspun yarn and because now I'm traveling on 2 subway lines. So it's a little more complicated to be picking up and readjusting as I go. And yeah, we're just getting into the ribbing there. It's a really beautiful pattern that I've knit before. And we're going to be done before you know it as well, and perfectly set up for the fall because this is just glorious for fall. This colorway is called Marsh. The unspun yarn is by Istex, and it's the Plotulopi. It's just fantastic, and it's going to be absolutely perfect for fall. So interesting. I feel like I have like spring, summer, and fall all beside me. And I love it. I love the combination of the seasons. We are now going to be talking about Knit City. Knit City is always a fabulous experience. I ended up taking the train right after work. Sorry, I got so hot. From Toronto to Montreal. Just a really quick little train. I think it was like 5.5 hours maybe. And I love it. I get to sit, I get to knit, I get to sip on something or eat a nibble, and before you know it, you're in Montreal, which is a whole other world outside of Toronto. Knit City this year had switched back to Montreal. They're going back and forth between Montreal or Toronto every other year. So this year Knit City was at the Sheridan, where it was, I think, every other year they've had it in Montreal. I ended up staying with a family friend, which was so nice and offered a really different experience. Because I was off site. So I didn't do as many activities as I've done in the past at Knit City or different fiber events. And it suited me just fine. It was really lovely. So I came in super late on Friday night. And then in the morning right away, got up, saw a family friend, and ended up going to a workshop. I feel so lucky. I went on to the website for Knit City the week before I left, and for some magical reason, there was an opening in one of the workshops by Sari Nordland. She had come over into Montreal for, I think, a number of events, but one of which included Knit City. So the course that opened up, and I super was on it and purchased right away, was her, it was a cabling. It was an increase and decrease cabling class. And of all people to teach this kind of class, Sari would just be the best. So I was really excited to meet her. I was really excited to learn and grow from her experience. And I did. She was great. Super explained everything really well. The workshop was full, and but I think offered, exactly what we needed for everyone that was there. She was great, Sari, in explaining about basic cables, but then offered a visual of aesthetics of why or why not to choose different increases and decreases and where to place them, which I thought was a really great jumping off point into learning where and how to increase and decrease, because there's already so many different options. When it comes to us as knitters and design choice, or even a knitwear designer, it was brilliant. She had us, of course, using that with application. So we got to play with the yarn and do increases and decreases on our own in the class with her help. It was lovely. I mean, I think I could have definitely enjoyed a workshop from her all day. This was, of course, within the morning. It was a 3-hour workshop. And in my opinion, never enough time to learn everything that you want to. But again, attention span and the wiggle in my pants, I was ready to press on. So it was lovely. I very much thanked her for her time and her expertise in sharing everything that she did, and walked away really having a better understanding of increasing and decreasing cables, which was great. I then met up with my family friend downstairs in the market, and we went through the marketplace. It was great. We bebopped from stall to stall. I saw faces. I said hi. I had hellos that came to me with pairs of knitting. And it's just the best experience to be in amongst knitters and designers and vendors. It's so energizing. It's so positive and happy and exciting. So thank you for saying hi for those that did. And of course, I didn't get to see everyone. I feel like I spent the least amount of time I've ever spent at a fiber event. Usually I'm super slow at going through, making sure I see and ask all the things and meet all the people. And this year with Family Friend, it was just a really different experience because I had someone else that I was with, which, was fine. And she offers tons of experience in knitting and fiber community as well. So it was lovely. I will show you my purchases. All right, I think I'm going to start with the funny thing. So I have a very inexpensive pair of craft scissors. I bought these from the dollar store. The whole objective was that if I ever need scissors while traveling or being out, if I lost them, I wouldn't be super sad. These were like probably less than $2 years ago, and every airport I've ever been in that I have taken them in, and I've been careful, no one's ever taken them away. They just keep going. So even though these were going to be possibly just for a little bit of time, they've lasted the entire knit journey. Still have them, still will use them, but we have an upgrade. I ended up purchasing these stunners. These are some snips from a company. I'm going to take off the safety, so be careful. These are snips from LDH. They're a Canadian company. I checked it out. They are in a very solid, heavy, I'm guessing stainless steel. This version is called Midnight. I'm going to use my left hand to show you the snip. And I've never had snips. I've never had anything this like cool, sexy, crafty, but fun. And so these are my new, what I'm going to be using in my knit kit as my scissors or my snips. I will not be traveling with these because one, they're heavy. They're way heavier than they look actually. So I'm going to keep them at home as my very cool, sexy snips as I knit all of my fun things. But I just feel like these are like big girl scissors. Like, here we are. We've graduated from the craft scissor, which was cute and efficient, to like very cool snips. And then the one purchase I made, fibery knitty wise, is unspun. So I bought these. I bought 2 plates of unspun yarn from La Bobineuses. This is a stall that was in Knit City, which was, a yarn shop in Quebec. I don't know if it was Montreal proper. I haven't done the research, but they had very cool offerings. And of course, unspun spoke to my heart. And these colors, usually for unspun, I find in my experience, you're getting more natural colors, more muted colors. These in the light of the Sheridan looked crazy bright. So immediately it was drawn. In real life, and they're showing up really nicely in the video right now. In real life, they're slightly muted compared to how I pictured or saw them in Knit City, but really happy. So it's like a mustardy yellow and a pink, like a fuchsia. Again, like this is where my heart is. Hello. But you can even see actually with the commercial yarn here from Unravelled, the brightness of this kind of fuchsia, the flamingo, versus this. It's a little more muted on this kind of yarn, the unspun. The deterrent, I almost didn't buy this, is because it's multi-layered or multi-stranded. I think it's 5 strands in one go that makes the plate. If you've been here for a minute with unspun, which definitely always has my heart, this is not my favorite put up in an unspun plate because you've got to separate out your strands. So I did it. I may regret it. You may be hearing on the future episodes that I really didn't enjoy working with the separation of the fibers. We'll see. I'm trying to be a little more open and want to give it a go based on the colors. If I had a guess and I didn't ask, I feel like they might have like hand dyed in house, or I should say dyed in house, these colors, which is cool. I think it's 5-ply. It feels very rustic Canadian. This reminds me exactly of the Briggs & Little Country Roving. It might be, and I'm fine with that. Obviously, the price point is reflective of their time to do this. It may be from a different distributor or mill, I'm not sure, but it feels very Canadian. So I think it's that like rustic Canadian yarn. The vision I have for this is doing a simple sweater that's gonna let the colors shine. And I want rugby stripes. If you know like a rugby jersey or rugby pullover, the stripes are very chunky as you go down in the torso and the sleeve. That's what I want. Each plate is how much? So it's 226 grams. 141 meters. If you used all 5 strands together, I'm probably going to do 2 yarns held double. So this is going to be enough for me for a sweater, for sure. And I think I'm going to be able to make it like a cute boxy sweater. I don't know when I'm going to cast this on. It would be cute to wear in fall or summer even, but it's fine. We're going to cast on when we cast on. And I'm definitely going to be hitting up the bubble bomber first, which is needed. It's needed. So we're back to unspun as well, which I'm always here for. All right. I have one last thing that I'm going to be sharing from Knit City, and this is some yarn that was gifted to me and to the podcast. Hello, I'm sorry, I keep getting messages. This is the most gorgeous plant-based yarn. This comes from Je Laine, which means I wool is the translation in French. And she is a hand dyer. She has a day job, but also hand dyes gorgeous yarn. Her booth was gorgeous with all different kinds of yarn from like mohair, merino, and superwash, sock yarn. And I was drawn to this. Immediately, she was so gracious and said, have these for your podcast. I said, are you sure? She allowed me to pick the color. This is, and let me tell you, it's called Melina. And this is a mix of 70% organic merino and 30% linen. It is 509 yards or 466 meters for 100 grams. The colorway is called Raindrops on Roses. I mean, could it be more stunning? So she's offered this to the podcast. We are doing a giveaway. And I thought how wonderful that I feel like I've started dabbling in plant-based fibers, and you can too. Maybe you already love them. Maybe this will help you get your plant journey started, your plant fiber journey started with the linen base. It's beautiful. I wish you could touch it. It's a stunner. And I kind of was almost, I wanted to be naughty and keep it for me so that I could cast on some kind of like summery tea, but I'm like, no, I'm doing my due diligence and I'm giving them to someone in the podcast that's watching. So I think for the amount, the quantity, you can probably make a pretty decent garment, a tee, maybe even a sweater. 466 meters, that's a lot. That's a pretty good amount. You can probably do it double, held single. I think, if I had a guess, I think it's a fingering. Stunning. So this is a giveaway. All I'm going to ask is that you just make a comment on the YouTube. You can make a comment about anything today. Let me know what you thought. Let me know what you're knitting on. Maybe what you would knit if you won 2 of these gorgeous skeins from a Canadian hand dyer. Let me know. I hope she'd be okay with it. My girlfriend from work. I have so many of these buttons. I'm happy to throw these in as well with the prize. So I'll offer a good handful of buttons as well to the package. So you're going to receive, if you win, the skeins and some beautiful homemade pottery buttons. I can't. I'm so excited. Just comment and we'll do a draw in a couple podcast time to see who's going to win. That's it. Make it simple, right? And I'll ship it out to you. All right. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I know that I was really excited about sharing, and I feel like I have so much to share. I even have to make a separate episode for a spinning seminar that I just got back from all weekend, and knits from that as well. So we have to chuck that into another episode. So stay tuned for that. My goodness, if you like today's episode, I very much invite you to like and subscribe to the channel. There's a Ko-Fi account. All the information is going to be found within the show notes below. That's going to be the unraveled information that you saw for these gorgeous kits from the New Zealand company. It's going to be information about how to win our draw, our prize, and of course includes pattern information that I've maybe talked about, that I've talked about today, including patterns of my own. So let me know if you have any questions. Let us know what you're working on. I hope you're feeling inspired to make all the things and enjoy in the most fun way. I'm wishing you great joy in your knitting. Until next time, take care.